And we're back. Sorry it's been a while. This is now year 2, probably of 3, and here's episode 17.
So far on Alex Builds, and despite having no building experience, I decided to build an old style barn on a massively sloping plot. I bought some stone and built a test wall, got some trees cut down, then hired a digger, with which I ruined my garden, pulled out 2 tree stumps, dug some trenches, cocked up those trenches and fixed the trenches. I built a concrete chute through which we cocked up the concrete pour which set with a slope, which we fixed by cutting loads of trench blocks and laying them to offset the slope. I then got my act together, but it snowed and rained really hard. We eventually got them all in and then filled it with 60 tonne of aggregate. We avoided another concrete cock-up by hiring a pump and then faced off the end wall, which actually looked really good. But what didn't look so good was my first attempt at the wall, so I took the whole lot out.
Right then, let's get stoned. Hooray! Okay, so time to look at a bit of stone, a bit of technique. Now, as mentioned, already had a go, taken it out, but following the success of the facing stone on the front edge of the build, it's taught me a few things and given me loads of opportunities to improve what I'm doing. Now, as we look at the face of this, you can see obviously that there's a bit of variability, but the thing we can't dispute is that there are 6 courses. It's still running in courses. So this is the big breakthrough. If you're ever putting this stone down, don't think that you can assemble a big jigsaw, because you can't.
Now, just to sort of interject as I'm sitting there playing back this video, this is what I'm trying to explain when I was on site last year. So this is who I buy my stone from. So what I've actually bought is what's called random facing stone. So when I'm talking about a jigsaw, I'm talking about you've got basically different depths and heights. So, you know, if you imagine that you put this block in here where my mouse is, you know, you might try and make up that height with 1, 2, 3, you know, these blocks here. And then you might have one here which is double the height. And this is basically what I've bought. Now, I've got no idea what rubble facing stone is, and that looks particularly difficult to deal with, but I have seen it out there. I mean, I think this is all facing, but remember, I'm actually not facing with this stuff. I'm actually using this to create, you know, a proper sort of structure. You can get kind of semi-coarse, which might have been better for what I want, but the thing is, I don't want that look, and I don't want that look either. So the thing is, I do actually think I've made the right decision buying this. But what I'm doing in the application of it is I'm using the random facing stone, but I'm coursing it so it doesn't look too sharp, but at the same time I haven't got the difficulties of just trying to piece it together on different levels. And that's what I mean by don't attempt to do a jigsaw.
Keep getting a very welcome visitor on site. Not sure what species that is. If there's any ornithologists, what do you call them? Any butterfly experts watching? Give me a comment, I'll give you a shout out if you can identify it. Very nice. Right then, here we go. This is kind of take 2. Putting a bit more damp-proof membrane down. I'm not sure if I need to, because you've got the damp-proof membrane that's going all the way over. But anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm doing it. At the end here, I'm actually making it slightly thicker. This is going to be supporting a beam, ultimately. So just a bit belt and braces, really. I've got a target width of 32 centimetres, 320 mil. But the string line gives me the idea for the height, and I've got the stones ready to go. So, let's give it a go. Whoa! That'll be a bad start, falling down the bank. Oh, cover the area.
As you can hear from me grunting away, it's something of a workout lifting these stones, and there's many tons to come. I've slightly changed the configuration at the end there. I was going to use that really large block I've just put in now, but it wasn't really a perfect right angle, so I wanted to get that right.
I think the less said about that the better, but it's stable, it's straight, it'll do the job. It's Friday the 1st of October and the progress is pitiful at the minute. So, a lot of rain forecast, nice evening here, but not the case tomorrow, and I want to crack on. So, I've bought a gazebo, 2 in fact, and I'm going to get them up tonight so I've got an area to work with.
Well, I was in two minds whether to leave this section in. I thought it was worth having a look at them. I went to a lot of effort to tie these in, but I think it's pretty predictable what's going to happen.
Let's do it. There we have it, all weather working, and I'm going to need it. The only thing I don't like, it's a bit dark. I should have gone for the lighter colour one really, might have created a bit more light. I always cut a hole in it, joking. One immediate advantage of this canopy is that because it's a bit darker, I can see my laser more easily. It's not very good in daylight. So there we go. The string line, actually, that's a couple of mil below. By the way, I've got these quite chunky Devout gloves that I bought, which are fine. However, if you look at this, I bought these. That is after 2 days work, maybe 3 days work. I mean, come on. What is the point of selling stuff? And it's a shame, because apart from that, I have to say, a lot softer, a lot nicer to wear. Devout, get a grip. Hi, we haven't spent a lot of time talking about the stone. I had 14 of these big bags delivered, there's now 10 here, so I've either used or moved 4 of them. Most of which has either gone, well, I've kind of done the first course on the site, but I've faced off the end wall as well. When I did the test wall in episode 2, to figure things out, I was sort of trying to do a weird jigsaw puzzle. It's not the way to do it. The key is to actually get a thick mortar bed and try and keep things level and use the mortar. However, I just want to show you a little bit of what we've got in the bags and how I'm now starting to think about the stone as I'm getting it out. Now when you're presented with these bags, it's not even at all. The way it's described from the quarry is that it's cut on a 4 or 6 inch bed. Now, grabbing kind of at random here, by the way. So, this is quite typical of one type of stone we get. So, the 4 to 6 inch bit refers to the depth here. Now, you can actually use these stones whichever way you want. I mean, you can sit them up like that in some cases, but obviously that's going to be quite narrow in terms of structure and stability. I'll show you that. Really, it's designed to go on this edge. This is the face here. The thing is though, is that they don't all work like that because they're a bit uneven, they're a bit variable, but also I sometimes really like the look of some of these, and I'll find you an example now. So this is one such example. I think it's been cut maybe on this face, very smooth. Now in this example, I would rather have that facing. I'm going to bring it nearer the camera. don't know if you can see the light there. I mean, it just looks great. Whether it's supposed to be put on that face or not, I don't know. Now this one's a bit uneven, so it's not the best example, but you do get these really nice patterns. The other issue is that you've got, is look at the end here. Oh, I've got to hold it with one hand. Okay. So if I am going to face and have this bit out, that's obviously not the right angle to create a good joint. So in some cases what I can do is I can work it. I can take this off. Now, so this is a good example I want to show you. Basically, it's quite even in terms of its depth and size. It's got a really attractive face and it's quite sort of right angle-ish, okay? So that one could sit like that and face outwards. And in terms of the depth, in terms of the course depth, that is, well, that's about 5.5 inches, 6 maybe. That's quite a normal depth for one of the courses. So it's simple really. Don't mix these up on the same course. What I'm doing is I'm retaining a big pile of these, as I said. At some point there's going to be a, keep calling it a thin course. And these big whoppers here, which are too thick, similarly I'm probably going to do a thick course. But the thing is, there's not so many of these. There's a huge amount of these. But really the stuff in the middle there's quite a bit of. So, I mean, take your pick. Okay, sit that on top of there. Now it doesn't have to be exactly the same, because the thing you have to remember is that we can go a bit thicker, we can go a bit thinner, but by using a thick mortar joint, and the mortar joint is anything up to 1 inch, top and bottom, it means that you've got that much margin of error. But you haven't got so much margin of error that you can just be clonking these in. What you end up doing, all these, is if you're going in the middle, you end up creating a step going down. And on that joint, what happens is on the next course, if you can't get the mortar in there, you end up sort of matching up and the joint keeps sort of stacking up and you get out of sync. And then you're looking for pieces of stone that are the right length to fit in. Morning all, welcome back. So quick progress update, it's not spectacular. This is the back section where we've got 3 courses in and I'm not about to start the 4th, and the reason why is this. Let's just scroll around under the awning, a bit darker. That's the pole for my awning. So we're at 3 courses around here, but I haven't finished the 3rd course. So first job this morning is to get this section in here and take it up to 3 courses. Then this afternoon I'd like to finish the 4th course, and then that's going to kind of punctuate where I'm going to stop the video. Now here's an interesting one. So we're looking at the side wall here. Again, I'm going to rotate as smoothly as I can. Sorry, that's a bit dark. So that's the back corner. Let's go back again. And there's the front part. That's going to be the entrance there, that edge. As we draw a straight line down here, there's going to be a lot of roof structure and a gable end, kind of roughly where this is stopping here. And it's quite a long span of wall, even though it's really thick. Now, I'm sure it's absolutely fine, but I'm inexperienced, so I think for me the default rule is overdo it. So in the same way, on the end here, I've kind of lipped it in. That will become clearer in a bit. I'm thinking, while I've got the chance, I've only actually got to take out 3 blocks. And what I could do is I could put, I think it's called a pier. So it's just basically a bit of a thick area at that point there where we've got some extra weight and some extra structure going on. I think I'm going to do that. Okay, well, they're mortared in well. very thick bed to start off. Doesn't matter.
I actually ended up taking those 2 blocks out because I realised afterwards it would make more sense to make it a bit larger. Just actually helps to fit different blocks in without creating straight joints. Those are the joints that go one above the other. Now here's a nice sequence showing you what I'm up to on the main wall itself. As I was saying, I mean, you could do it so much more easily if you were just facing, if you were just doing one course. But the nature of what I'm doing is, as you can see, is that we've got 2 parallel courses running, one on each side, and where possible you want to bring those stones together so that they can touch.
Yeah, that's good. Away. I have to make a big joint here, but it's worth it. Having a few doubts now, it's not really long enough, but in terms of stability, yeah, you know what, that's fine. Having that through piece there, it's going to be great.
So as a result of doing 2 parallel courses, of course you get a bit of a cavity. Look at the top of the screen though, this is what I mean about how you can butt these stones off against each other, which is ideal for structure and also means you haven't got to fill the cavity. Now, to fill the cavity, you're just really going to use old bits of masonry and mortar. Now, that's official, right? I've seen other stonemasons videos and that's definitely what they do. Certainly in the cases of infilling, facing or sort of supporting walls where they're putting these in front of them. You can see the dark grey bit of masonry I've put in, that's a piece of the old trench block. I had quite a few of those left over that were all broken, so I smashed them up. You might remember when I was looking at the stones, I had some of those flat looking ones. Well, later on I'll actually start breaking those up and using those to fill. They're actually easy to break, fit really well, and they're quite convenient to use.
Right, now the jointing. This is an area of significant quality issues, to say the least. So the way I'm doing it is slightly beveling it, like so. Same, going up. Then brushing away the excess. And if need be, repeat. Look at the time, about 2.5 hours, and we've done 2.5 meters. And I'd already got the stones ready to go, so that shows you how long it does take. I could add up at that rate how long it's going to take me to do all of this wall, but I don't need to depress myself, so I won't. But anyway, that's just a good little shift this morning before I head off for the day.
So here it is. I think I had the wrong setting on the camera because it's all looking very washed out here and not very good, but actually it brushes up okay. Jointing's all right as well. If we go around the back, similar sort of thing, but look at that course number 2 in the middle. I've not quite found my technique yet in terms of getting even courses. There'll be huge improvements as I learn how to do this later on.
It's the last day of October, the clocks have gone back, and I've got a bit of a break in the weather. All I need to do is finish this last section, and that is course 4 done. However, we've had a major canopy collapse. Oh God, it snapped all the metal. We had massively strong winds, and then a bit of the canopy came down, sort of sagged where it broke, and then it filled up with water. There's a huge amount in there, and then that basically pulled the rest of it down. I'm going to fix this. It's an alternative structure, but I'm going to put a bit of wood in it because I want it. This is a really helpful thing to have. At least I'm going to try.
Well, I'm not going to try for long. This is a bit of a dead duck, I'm afraid. As you can see, I'm trying to put some sections in to recover it, but very quickly I'm going to realise it's a goner. So here you go. It's the inevitable packing up of it. I did actually get a few things out of it. I was able to use the sheets on top of it to keep some other stuff dry, but a bit of a waste of time, definitely a waste of money.
Right, just this very last section here, and then a little bit on top of that one there. See that? Look at this. Jeez. It's a bit wild. The other camera's picking it up. It's raining quite hard now. Anyway, I'm going to do it. Worst of all, the clocks went back. It kind of makes you have a really long afternoon. I don't like it. I wish they'd leave the clocks where they are. Anyway, let's get on. Nearly there.
So this was a fairly horrific hour or two of my life. Some days on site it's lovely. The weather's good, your mortars mix well, all the blocks are fitting together. Alternatively, none of the blocks are fitting together. You've mixed your mortar far too runny and it's windy and it's raining really, really hard. That's what's happening here. As I was going and putting these blocks in, the mortar was pouring out and running down the sides. I knew these blocks were basically too narrow, all of them, if you see how I've tried to lay them out. Ultimately, I reached the inevitable decision, which was get rid of them all, get the hose pipe on, wash it down, and go in for a beer in the bath.
So it's Saturday the 6th of November. We're 1 week behind because I should have finished course 4. I've got the blocks ready to mortar in, and just where my tool bag is, just got to finish that area, and then this sort of finishes this section. This last bit has taken thick end of 2 weeks for one reason or another, mainly rain. So I'm going to plough through that this morning. I've got the mortar on, I've got the blocks ready to go. I'm going to quick tidy around the site, and it's only 10 past 10, so we should be fine today. Although there is rain forecast this afternoon, so let's get cracking. Just trying to match these blocks up now to finish these piers off. This pier, I've got to admit, I'm slightly regretting this. It's just so fiddly. Right, are you ready? This is it. I'm going to say phase 1, but it's a completely made up phase. Phase 1 is complete. So that is course 4 around the back section here, all the way around there, including the pier, all the way to that end there. Now, I have discovered something over the last 6 weeks. I really don't enjoy laying stone. It's horrible. It's really hard work. Hurts. I'm not very good at it. Well, but acceptably good by my standards. Let me just walk over here. Just a few observations. First of all, I haven't mortared these last 2 in. The reason why is there's a bit of ironmongery to go in, and I'm going to leave that for the next episode. That's quite exciting. At least I think it is. Some of the joints are an absolute shocker. I know that, and I've already cleaned some up, so I know I can, and I will, because I want to have pride in this thing. So there's some pointing and some scraping and some working to be done. There's a fine line between rustic and shit. I'm not sure which side of that line I'm on. So from a wild and autumnal Cheshire here in England, thanks very much for joining me. And I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Bye for now.